Ladies and gentlemen, focus on yourself in 2026, not because the world told you to, but because your heart is tired of explaining, proving, and waiting. This year is not about fixing everyone around you. It is about finally choosing yourself without guilt. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need applause to heal. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is to quietly work on yourself while the world keeps making noise. Choosing yourself without guilt in 2026 is not an act of rebellion. It is an act of survival. For so long you were taught that choosing yourself means hurting others, disappointing people, or becoming selfish. You were taught to stay quiet, to adjust, to carry emotional weight that was never yours. Over time, that silence turned into exhaustion, that adjustment turned into loss of self. This year asks you to unlearn that pattern gently, honestly, and without shame. Guilt often comes from conditioning, not from truth. You feel guilty when you rest because you were praised only when you struggled. You feel guilty when you say no because you were valued only when you were available. You feel guilty when you prioritize yourself because you were taught love means sacrifice without limits. But love was never meant to erase you. Care was never meant to cost you your peace. Choosing yourself simply means acknowledging that you matter too. In 2026, choosing yourself may look very ordinary from the outside. It may look like leaving conversations that drain you. It may look like protecting your mornings, your routines, your mental space. It may look like declining invitations that disturb your inner balance. It may look like investing time in your growth instead of explaining your choices to people who don't listen. These choices may feel uncomfortable at first because you are not used to being this honest with yourself. There will be moments when your old habits try to pull you back, moments when you almost say yes just to keep peace, moments when you almost apologize for needing space, moments when you feel the familiar pressure to prove your worth by overgiving. In those moments, pause, remind yourself that you are allowed to choose what feels aligned with your well-being. You are allowed to outgrow roles that kept you small. You are allowed to change your priorities without defending them. Choosing yourself does not mean closing your heart. It means opening your eyes. It means recognizing where your energy flows and what it returns to you. It means understanding that you cannot heal in environments that keep reopening your wounds. It means accepting that not everyone will understand your journey, and that understanding is not a requirement for your growth. Your responsibility is to your inner peace, not to everyone's expectations. When you choose yourself, you may feel lonely at first. That loneliness is not emptiness, it is space, space where clarity enters, space where your thoughts slow down, space where you begin to hear your own voice again. In that space you start rebuilding trust with yourself, you start honoring your limits, you start making decisions that are rooted in self-respect instead of fear of rejection. This year asks you to stop seeking permission to live your life differently. You don't need validation to rest. You don't need approval to grow. You don't need agreement to move forward. Every time you choose yourself, you are teaching others how to treat you. Every boundary you hold becomes a reminder that your peace has value. Every honest choice brings you closer to the person you were meant to become. Choosing yourself without guilt is a daily practice. Some days you will do it confidently. Other days you will hesitate. Both are part of the process. What matters is that you keep returning to yourself even after moments of doubt. You keep choosing alignment over approval. You keep choosing inner stability over external comfort. You keep choosing yourself not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Protecting your energy and stopping over-explaining is one of the quietest yet strongest decisions you can make in 2026. Energy is not just about how tired your body feels. It is about how much of yourself you give away without noticing. Every unnecessary argument, every forced conversation, every explanation given to someone who never intended to understand takes something from you. Over time, this becomes emotional leakage, and you begin to feel drained without knowing why. Over-explaining often comes from a deep desire to be understood, accepted, or not judged. You explain your choices, your boundaries, your silence, your growth, hoping that clarity will bring peace. But clarity does not always lead to understanding, especially when the listener is committed to misunderstanding you. Not everyone deserves access to your reasons. Not everyone needs a detailed story. Some people only need a simple boundary, and some don't even deserve that. In 2026, protecting your energy means learning when silence is more powerful than speech. It means recognizing that your peace is more valuable than winning an argument. You don't have to respond to every message. You don't have to correct every assumption. You don't have to justify every decision you make. The moment you stop explaining yourself to people who drain you, you reclaim a part of your strength. There will be discomfort in this shift. You may feel rude. You may feel misunderstood. You may feel the urge to clarify, soften, or fix how others perceive you. That urge is old conditioning, not truth. You were taught that being available makes you good, that explaining makes you polite, that accommodating makes you lovable. But constant availability leads to burnout, and constant explanation leads to self-doubt. Protecting your energy is about awareness. Notice which conversations leave you heavy. Notice which people leave you questioning yourself. Notice where your time disappears without return. Energy protection is not dramatic, it is practical. It is choosing where to invest your attention. It is choosing conversations that nourish instead of drain. It is choosing to walk away before resentment grows. When you stop over-explaining, you start trusting yourself more. You stop looking outside for validation. You stop needing approval for decisions that already feel right inside. You learn that people who respect you don't demand explanations, they accept boundaries. People who value you don't push you to exhaust yourself just to be understood. This realization is freeing, but it also changes relationships. Some connections will fade when you stop overgiving. Some people will feel uncomfortable when you no longer perform emotional labor for them. This is not loss, it is alignment. Relationships that survive this shift are built on mutual respect, not on constant justification. Protecting your energy helps you see clearly who belongs in your life and who only stayed because you kept explaining. In 2026, let your actions speak instead of long explanations. Let your consistency replace your defense. Let your silence become your boundary. You are not responsible for managing other people's feelings about your growth. You are not obligated to carry emotional weight that was never yours. Every time you choose not to explain, you choose self-respect. Energy once protected begins to multiply. You feel calmer. Your thoughts become clearer. Your focus improves. You stop feeling scattered and start feeling grounded. This is not because life becomes easier, but because you stop leaking yourself in places that don't deserve you. Protecting your energy is not shutting people out, it is letting yourself in. Healing is quiet, and growth doesn't need noise, even though the world often tells you the opposite. You are surrounded by loud success stories, public victories, and constant updates that make it seem like progress must be announced to be real. But the most meaningful changes happen when no one is watching. They happen in silence, in routine, in the small decisions you make every day when you choose yourself over chaos. Quiet healing does not look impressive from the outside. It looks like choosing rest without explaining why. It looks like staying home when your body asks for stillness. It looks like feeling emotions fully instead of escaping them through distraction. Healing is not a performance, it is an internal process that asks for honesty, patience, and time. The moment you stop rushing it, it starts working in your favor. Growth without noise means you stop seeking validation for every step forward. You don't need applause to keep going. You don't need an audience to stay committed. When you move quietly, you move with clarity. There is less pressure to impress and more space to focus. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. You stop measuring your worth by external reactions. Silence allows you to hear yourself again. In the absence of noise, you begin to notice patterns you ignored before. You see where you kept repeating the same mistakes. You recognize what truly drains you and what gives you life. This awareness is the foundation of real growth. Without it, change remains temporary. With it, transformation becomes